Excuse the fan noises, it's a million degrees in this house right now, and I'd rather not sweat through my clothes. Hey guys, it's Zoe, and today I'm going to be doing something I haven't done for a very long time. Mostly because I've been on a book buying ban. Actually, that's the entire reason. Oh no! I am going to be doing a book haul. What? Most of these books I got for free. We're cheating the system a little bit. I've not bought more than one book at a time. More than one book a month, really, since March. The only books I've been getting have been subscription boxes. That's what they're called. This is the first time I've had more than 3 books to do per month, so we're here doing a book haul. Things are gonna change though, because today is Tuesday, September 4th? Maybe. Don't quote me on that. And after this weekend, which is BookNet Fest, on Monday, September 10th, I start a brand new job, which means I'm going to have funds to help Curtis pay the bills. Whoops. Whatever leftover funds I will have will be going back to books. So I'll see you next year for another haul. Okay, awesome. Kidding. I might be going back to doing random book hauls or monthly hauls at some point, maybe by the end of the year, depending on how much I work. Anyways, what was I saying? An August book haul. Yes, there are, I don't know how many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 9 books. What? 5 of them? 6 were kindly given to me by various people. 2 of them were from subscription boxes, and then 1 was because I went to a signing and I had to buy the book to get it signed. So, without further ado, let's get into this. I almost said wrap up because that's what I filmed last time. Let's get into the haul so I can go and get out of this heat. The first one is These Rebel Waves by Sarah Rosh, which came in the August Fairy Loot box. And this follows Adeluna, Devereaux, and Bennett, still not sure. There are pirates. That's all we need to know. Pirates and conspiracies and kings being overthrown. I am a big fan. My favorite part though is the sprayed edges. I love this color. It's not as brilliant of a green on camera, but it's gorgeous. It's just wholesale. Adeluna is a soldier from Grace Leray, a magic-rich country that was being oppressed by Argrid. I always want to say Agrid, like Hagrid, but it's Argrid, which is a country run by religion that doesn't like magic. So they want to stamp it out in the rest of the world because why would you just mind your own business and let other people live their lives the way they want to when you could tell them what to do? Maybe because you're a bunch of assholes. That might be it, but that's just me. Devereaux is a pirate who runs rampant on Grace Leray and sells all of the magical plants and whatnot on the black market. But when an Argridian diplomat, it's another one of those days. Anyways, when an Argridian diplomat is kidnapped, everyone thinks it's the raiders and the pirates who did it, so Devereaux becomes a target. He teams up with Adeluna to figure out who actually did it. And then we have Bennett, whatever the hell his name is. He is a heretic. He is of the mind that he would rather live in a country where he could be free to be whoever he wanted. Well. He's an Argridian, and he is obsessed with the magic of Grace Leray. Understandable. He's also the crown prince, so there's a little bit of conflict of interest there. But his father, the king, gives him the seemingly impossible task of turning around Argrid's hatred of magic. So the 3 of them meet eventually, obviously, and they need to figure some shit out. The next book is from the August Owl Crate box, and this one is Grace and Fury by Tracy Bangert, possibly Banghart. I don't know if you stress that H. Serena has been groomed her entire life to become a Grace. Basically, a perfect woman who will stand next to the king. Next to the king and just be a perfect woman. It seems like Serena's made her peace with this because it's a chance to give her family a better life. But then things go a little bit wrong when her sister Nomi catches the heir to the throne's eye, and he wants her to be a Grace instead. Now Nomi, she's not okay with that. She hates the idea of the Graces. I'm with her. Nomi ended up catching the heir's eye when Serena took the fall for a secret that Nomi was hiding. So Nomi's been doing some shit that she shouldn't be doing. Don't know how bad it was, but it seems pretty bad because Serena ends up trapped on an island where she needs to fight to the death to survive. So I don't know if you would be put on an island like that for a minor infraction like some unpaid parking tickets. That seems kind of like Nomi was doing some shit that could get her killed. Don't know what it was in this world. Could be anything. I'm curious to see what she was doing. But because her sister took the fall for her, and is now in a place where she needs to fight to the death to survive against people who are much stronger than her, I'm assuming physically and mentally and probably emotionally, Nomi has to submit to being a Grace until she can figure out how to save her sister. I'm a little bit worried about this one. Don't know how it's gonna go. Because just from the synopsis, there seems like there's a lot going on here. So much that it could fill like a 600-page book, and you still need some sequels. However, where did the sun go? I don't know, this lighting just changed a lot. Okay. This book is 311 pages long. That's not a lot of pages. Is this going to be enough? I'm assuming there's a sequel. There better be a sequel if you have that much going on and not that many pages. You can't get a lot of world building going on in here. So I don't know. The next book is the final book in a trilogy that I've talked about a couple times. This one is Nightblood by Ellie Blake. She did a signing at the chapters where I'm from because she's from the same city that I'm from, and it was a 20-year anniversary for this particular store, so she came to do a signing as one of the events for this chapter's anniversary party. I got to talk to her for a little bit while she was signing this, and she seems like an absolute sweetheart. However, that does not change the fact that the first two books in this series weren't the greatest. I like them. They were, I think I gave both of them 3 or 3.5 out of 5 stars. They were good, but not the best. Everything just kind of seemed like it had been done before. But I did like the second one better than the first one. So, I am very curious to see how I feel about this one, and if I'm going to like it more than the second one. The series follows a girl named Ruby who is a fireblood. She has the ability to manipulate fire in a world ruled by frostbloods, people who have the ability to manipulate ice and cold things. In the first book, I didn't like the romance. I didn't think it was necessary, and then in the second book, from what I remember, there was kind of a love triangle introduced, and I'm usually not a fan of love triangles because I haven't seen one done really well in a long time. So I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this one. Not really going to tell you what this one's about because I don't want to spoil anything from the first two books. The next book is a self-published book that was sent to me by the author. I read the first edition and I gave it 1 star. My problem with it was that it seemed just like an outline. It was all telling, no showing. And I didn't connect with the characters. I kind of ended up skimming through the last half of the book maybe because it just didn't seem like a final version. It seemed like a draft. So when I posted this review, the author contacted me and said she had a review that was kind of similar and would I like to read the second edition. She added, I think, at least 12,000 words or something, and she revamped a lot of it. So she wanted to see if I would give the second edition a chance and give her feedback on that. So of course I said yes. It's a self-published author, this is her first book. I would love to be a part of helping somebody grow as a writer and just improve in general. The reason I got this book in the first place was because I used to work with her brother-in-law, and he was the one who told me about the book and asked me if I wanted to read it. This book is The Guardians of Eastgate by Sherry LeClaire. This book follows a woman named Melona who is a seer and is one of the guardians of the realm of Starenvar. I think that's how you pronounce it. She is one of the 4 champions of her people who are each tasked with guarding a single keystone. Basically, they just need to stop the keystones from being breached by evil forces. If this unnameable evil gets a hold of the keys, then they will be able to unleash a dark magic that will take over the entire world. However, Melona is a little bit more than your average seer. She is totally unique in the entire world. There is no one else like her. And she is pretty much the best hope for the survival of the people of this entire world. Kind of poetic justice because these same people once hunted down and killed most of her race. So maybe you should just be nice to people who are different because one day they might end up saving your ass, okay? So it's up to Melona, her friend Blaze, who is a wolf shifter, and Gareth, a human prince, to bring together their different peoples who haven't gotten along ever to save the entire world. I honestly am really excited just to see how I feel about this book with the overhauls done on it. The next books are all from when I went to an event in Toronto hosted by HCC Frenzy, a division of HarperCollins Canada, called Frenzy Presents. It was so much fun, and it was entirely worth the 4-hour drive there and the 4-hour drive back. It was fantastic. I got to meet a lot of people that I've been talking to online for a while now, and I got to hear a lot about these books that I got, and we got to see a sneak peek of some of the books coming out in the fall, and we got to meet the author of 2 of these books and talk to her and find out a little bit more about what prompted her to write these 2 books. So, let's start with those 2, which are The Black Witch and The Iron Flower by Laurie Forrest. The Black Witch came out... when did it come out? Last year? 2017. I have a copy of this somewhere. I have a hardcover copy that I got a while ago and I just haven't gotten around to reading it for God knows what reason. And then we got an arc of The Iron Flower, which comes out on September 18th. So I really need to get around to reading The Black Witch so I can read this before it comes out. These books follow a girl named Aloran who is the spitting image of her grandmother, the last Black Witch. Her grandma was kind of a badass, and she drove back the enemy forces in the last Realm War. Kind of some big shoes to fill, especially since everybody thinks that Aloran is going to follow in her footsteps and become the next Black Witch, but Aloran has a grand total of 0 powers. Not a goddamn one. Which is extra shit for her because the society she lives in puts magical power above everything else. So she's a double disappointment. Cool. So when she is offered the opportunity to fulfill her lifelong dream of becoming an apothecary, she heads off to the university with her brothers and takes her place there, where she can embrace a life of her own, free from the shadow of her grandmother. Wouldn't it be nice if life was that easy? Turns out the university is probably the worst place for the granddaughter of the Black Witch to be. Naturally, she finds this out when there are evil forces looming on the horizon and the pressure is building for her to become her grandmother, and her only hope potentially lies in a band of misfits, but only if she can learn to trust the people she has been taught to hate and fear. We were told a little of what The Iron Flower was about, but honestly, I blocked it out because I don't want spoilers. It follows Aloran, and I don't know what else happens, and I'm not even gonna look at the back until I'm done this one, so I don't spoil myself. There has been a lot of controversy around this book, so I am super excited to get into it and see if the controversy is justified. The next book comes out on October 2nd, and this one is Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. This is a murder mystery that follows 2 friends, Mia and Bryn, who everyone thinks killed their friend Summer. I say killed, but 5 years ago she was brutally murdered. Not just like, oops, I killed you. No, it was bad. It was bad. 5 years ago, a girl named Summer was taken into the woods and brutally murdered. Well, there's some woods behind my house, and after I read this, probably never gonna go in there again. Everyone thought that their obsession with a book called The Way into Lovelorn just twisted their minds and turned their fantasies of being part of that world deadly. Here's the thing though, they didn't do it. So now it is up to Mia and Bryn to find out who did it, who actually murdered their friend, and to clear their own names. Part of me is thinking that this person is gonna end up trying to kill these girls too. So we'll see. Not 100% sure. The next book comes out on October 23rd, and this one is The Light Between Worlds by Laura E. Weymouth. This is not the final cover. It will be revealed eventually. Maybe already, don't know, but this is not it. This is like a post-Narnia world. Not like post the events of Narnia, but people go to a world like Narnia and it's their life after coming back. Color me intrigued. 6 years prior to the events of this book, sisters Evelyn and Philippa, I never know what that name, I kind of like Philippa, however you say it, were swept into a world called the Woodlands. They lived there for years, and I'm assuming they had a grand old time, but then they were returned to their world in post-World War II England, and they haven't been able to adjust. One sister wants to go back to the Woodlands, the other one just wants to move on with her life. So one is Lucy and the other is Susan. But then Evelyn goes missing and Philippa, please correct me, educate me. She's forced to confront just how badly her sister's been doing since they came back, and some painful truths that they've been running from. As weeks begin to go by though, and Evelyn still hasn't come back, her sister begins to wonder if she ended up going back to the Woodlands, or if the weight of their real world began to pull her under. I absolutely love the Chronicles of Narnia, and if this is anything like it, like actually, and not just it says it's like it, I am going to be a huge fan. The last book I have here is the one I'm most excited for. I cannot wait for this. I actually almost cried when I saw that I had this book. I cannot express how excited I am that I have an arc of this book, which is A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahira Mafi. Oh, this is not the final copy. Yoo-hoo to yourself. This book is set in 2002, a year after the events of 9/11, and it follows a Muslim teen. She is just tired of the rude stares, the degrading comments, the physical violence that she has been dealing with since 9/11 happened. She decides that she's not going to trust anyone or let anyone close enough to hurt her. Instead, she puts all of her frustration into music and breakdancing with her brother. And then she meets Ocean James, a boy who's from an entirely different world than she is. He's the first person in so long who just wants to get to know her for her. But because they come from such different backgrounds, and because she's had this wallet for so long, she doesn't know if she can let her guard down and let someone in. While all of that sounds like a great book on its own, what I'm most intrigued about is this is based on Tahira Mafi's own life and her own experiences, down to the breakdancing with her brother bit, which I think is so freaking cool. I am ready for this book to ruin me. I am ready to bawl my eyes out like an animal the entire time. Me up. I'm ready. And that is the last of my books that I got in August. I don't even know if half of what I said made sense. So when I start editing, I might start drinking. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe just for funsies. I don't know. Drunk editing. Let's try it. If you've read any of the books that are already out, let me know down in the comments what you thought of them, and let me know if you're looking forward to any of the ones that are coming out in October or mid-September for the one of them. As always, to stay updated with my current reads and how I'm feeling about them, you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads, all at Your Book Nerd Zoe, which I will leave linked down below in the description box. Thank you so much again to everyone at HCC Frenzy, especially Ashley for inviting me to that event. It was so much fun, and if any of you have the opportunity to go to that event, 100% find a way to get there. It's so worth it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I hope you all have a wonderful day and get at least a little bit of uninterrupted reading time. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!